You came into this place bigger than this place. And the magical realm that is here is interacting and feeding back to you. But the requirement is that you fit in with the rules of that which is around you for safety and your desire to serve and to comfort others as they comfort you. There's love there. With that, basically everyone you've ever met has accepted tutelage, accepted bending the knee to a very subtle layer of systems of indoctrination and control. And it's not nefarious, it's just uh, part of the layers of this place. This place itself, nature, is a magical realm and it's feeding back your energy to you so that you can have that, oh shit, I'm doing it. And then go on that ellipsis train to actually see and remember who you are and carry that extreme value of self acceptance and working with the creative generative principle and expanding your belief structures. Big sneeze. And that's one of the most complicated and difficult things for someone to realize and then still hold on to is that when they came in, they were bigger than this place. And that the real them is. That's who they are. And the only reason they feel small is because they've taken on definitions and systems and rules and indoctrination and obligation and um, value from descriptions instead of the true thing. And the more we take on those things, so say math, science, religion, uh, being a fan of something, certain perspective of seeing the world because society sees it this way. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. There's value in all of those things, but they are not the core thing. They're descriptors, and we tend to worship the descriptor because not because it's our idea, but because everyone else is. Everyone else says, see, this is how it works. And then you can reverse engineer it here, and that's how it works. But it never gets to the cause layer. It never gets to who they really are, where they are, and how anything actually functions. It gets to uh, so briefly math or geometry, calculus, physics, basically all science is a descriptor of language. Language is a descriptor of symbol. Symbol is a descriptor of intent. Intent is a descriptor of resonance. And this resonance is actually the requirement to communicate to others. But we have been, we have accepted an offer unknowingly over and over within our cultures that we then go and give the information to somebody else based on the descriptor and not based on the resonance. And therefore, we forget that resonance is even the core thing. And we continue that process unknowingly, not realizing that we're doing it. And then we end up forgetting who we are. And it's very easy to do that when you're a little kid and your parents don't know who they are because when they were a little kid, their parents forgot and didn't know who they were. So everybody's serving each other's uh, obliviousness. At the same time, nobody wants to make anyone uncomfortable. And we tend to coddle each other in the things that we don't say and the things that we don't do, which is actually serving the real us. So these systems of mind boxes are not overlaying, but they are an intermediary between us and interacting with this magical world. The reason that that is there is because it's part of the growth process of this turning, of this journey in this time. It's not always the same matrix in the same way. But it is here now because it's part of what will forge in going into this next adventure of life in this magical realm, a stronger and higher resonance awareness. And that will continue to flow as rhythm does as well. But that's over ages. So this chaotic time between times is actually a beginning of an uplifting of an age. Again, still not better or worse, but certainly more greater, certainly a greater awareness on an average level than, say, in the 80s or 90s or 2000s. Or you can probably say for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. And it's this magical world that's already here. And then there's the you. And you are literally perfect. And yet you've been ordained with a personality. And that personality is then affected how depending on how it bends to its environment. Now, if it was bending to the environment of the magical realm, it would be learning and it would be growing, but instead it bends to the environment of the middle part, which is the matrix, which is uh, this very subtle level of information. And this information creates a mind box and it's overlaying, again, not good or bad, but it's overlaying the magical realm that's already here. So it basically becomes intermediary between you and the magical realm, and you begin to filter everything through this mind box. Say the first mind box is how communication happens, and say the next one is like how we're supposed to act and things we're not supposed to do, and then the third one is uh, little ways of serving others. So not letting our nature flow as much as creating planned kindness instead of just allowing life to happen itself. Say a fourth one would be scholastics, learning your numbers and letters. And there's the idiosyncrasies between how every household operates, how what they actually do on a daily basis, how ingrained their habits become, and the definitions that we put on each other that we don't realize we're holding each other to. So like this sister is like this brother is like this, my mom is like this, my dad is like this, my one friend is like this, and we don't allow them. We don't realize we're doing it. We don't allow them to be a limitless being, a limitless spirit, growing their energy in a very unique way in this wonderful place. We are all holding each other down to live to the limitations that don't bother us, basically. And the most important part is that all those limitations, all that bothering, none of that shit came from us. It's something that we picked up along the way from our world being within a social world, which is within a collective unconscious world. And that entire collective unconscious world is what's considered to be the matrix in between the real you and the magical realm. So you don't need any of this. The fear is that you don't need any of the collective unconscious. The fear is that when you leave it, you'll lose everybody, and that's true. And then you might not lose them all forever. And it's impossible to lose everything forever when you're talking about true forever. But in this supposed lifetime, if you separate from the collective unconscious truly with intent, or even if it happens to you by epiphany and slams you in the face when you see it coming, or maybe you asked for it and you forgot about it, and a month and a half later, bam, everything falls apart. Well, you get what you asked for, get what you pay attention to. And it doesn't mean that it won't be a much greater scenario with you and with others that are like minded or can perceive the similar frequency eventually. But if you separate from collective unconscious, you will lose everything. You're supposed to. It's just what you asked for. You're supposed to. It feels like it's so much, so terrible, so unfair, so crazy, so lonely. But this place is an offering, it's an opportunity. You are divine, limitless spirit. The second you can allow yourself, like it's the stopping of the world. Oh, shit, this is not a big deal. The second you can allow yourself to realize this is a process of me, for me, by me, with me. And it's also my opportunity to allow myself to grow to the greatest possible scenario. Not with this, I must meet this level, but just, it's so wonderful for that I continue to grow. And then when you continue to grow, you can offer that to others. Not by saying, I'm preaching, you must do these things, because that's another mind box, but by being a greater version of you. That's how all this shit works. Separating, bending around the matrix, getting into the magical realm, and still looking at those that are in the matrix and saying, cool. I love you. You love me. It's cool. Fear isn't the enemy, but it's not serving you. It's only there for you to address it. Your fear is your mirror here. Addressing your fears are exactly the thing that you came here to do. And were they your fears before you got here or not? Probably not. Doesn't matter. The thing is that, caveat, every single thing I've said and ever forever will say is through the filter of my uh, allowing myself to step out of myself and just perceive blankly, and then being a prism and seeing, oh yeah, 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 huh. Yeah, it's easy for me to put things together because I don't try to make it about me, um, with no judgments or comparison. That's just how it functions for me. So if that's considered to be opinion, then all of this is my opinion, right? But be honest with you, I'm pretty convinced I'm a messenger of wisdom and love, and I think we all are. By love, I mean the limitless frequency of life and that which most call God. And I genuinely know that we all are, and that we're just so scared. We're so scared. We're so scared to be our real self for 1 second. So we take on these layers and layers and layers of personality and environment and rules. And then we get to the best possible scenario we can within those personality and environment rules. And we never ever think about stopping the personality, because that would mean removing myself from the effects of the environment, my friends and my family. And then that would mean that I would have to address why they and I are all participating in these rules that are really limiting us. But if I want to remove my personality and grow past that, then I don't want to be limited. I better just keep going. Better just be the me that everybody knows me as. But that wasn't you when you came in here. That wasn't the you that you came here to be. It's not a failure if you do it or don't do it. There is no failure. As of right this second, right now, my message is you already know what to do. You've always known what to do. Everything in your life is keeping you from doing it because you're holding on to all these ropes that you think you're serving and you think serve you, that you think are keeping you up and you're keeping them up. But in reality, in truth, those ropes are fucking trapping you. And by holding on to the ropes that you deep down inside you know are trapping you, you're putting friction on them, and all the other individuals that you don't know or that you do love and know that are also holding on to those similar ropes, you're putting friction on that rope that is then entrapping them too. The greatest courage in this life is to face your own limitless nature and have that moment where you release all ropes, and you can use alcohol or all types of psychoactive substances or prayer, religion, meditation, um, running 500 miles, pushing yourself to death. Uh, you can you can use literally you can use writing, you can use pull-ups or climbing a mountain, you can use dog training, you can use anything to push yourself that far. Push yourself that far. But again, that's kind of a mechanism of within the matrix. And then you're trying to go within the matrix and pull yourself back out. And that can work, but it's only that in the end you pull yourself back out and say, oh, I never needed any of that. That's how that works. What I'm telling you is it's here. Primum vultus interiorum. First look within. It's you. You have always been bigger than this. You will always be bigger than this. There is no rule or system or story or individual or group or controlling faction or uh, ideology or uh, mechanism that can ever in any way limit you. The only thing that can limit you is your appeasing of all those rules and systems. Middling ourselves to make everyone else comfortable, to make everyone else comfortable. Who's middling themselves to make everyone else comfortable. And in reality, everyone ends up uncomfortable anyway, because comfort is the welcome mat, the great discomfort. It's not hard to look at life and figure it out. What's hard is living life without figuring it out. I will say that it's a trying process to implement it, and it's supposed to be. Growing as a man or woman, or that's why it's so important for me to attempt to offer whatever value I have to boys and girls is um, this life is already perfect. Now start growing you. Just don't put that much of you into all these other things. It's not a rule that you can't look at the matrix. What I'm saying is start to become very interested with the growing of you. You know, we get we get friends or we get rules from our parents or from our church or from our gang or whatever. Um, and then we get friends at a certain age, and then maybe we get a boyfriend or girlfriend. And we end up having like more energy to get along with them on a second by second basis than we do to growing ourselves. Most people have never been guided to grow themselves anyway, so that's not the point really. But it's very easy for us, even if we hold awareness, to get sucked into appeasing everyone else. And my priority is not to go around and make everyone else uncomfortable. It's actually opposite my personality. But what I've found is when I take care of myself first, and by taking care of myself, it's obviously there's the physical requirement, the workout, yoga, meditation, breathing, just a reminder of getting in tune with myself and getting in tune with this place on a physical basis. But also, whatever is ticking inside you that you feel like that thing is important to me, it's resonating with me right now. For me, lots of times it's writing. Um, that must be done before you put anything on or for anyone else. And what I just described right there is the major issue with the psychosis of having a corporate job. Or even if you're an entrepreneur working for yourself, that's a trap too. And I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying being aware of the fact that it is a trap unless it's your passion. Um, you're going to end up many times foregoing the requirements that your soul is telling you to look at this and do this. Even if it's just a 20-minute thing, you will put off that task because you have this other list of things to do that are responsible. And that responsible shit is literally in response to a social hierarchy. And that's not Darwinism, animal hierarchy, or not any of that nonsense. It's there is a very subtle slavery mentality that has been accepted by nearly everyone that chooses a side, no matter what side it is, within culture, within society. And I shouldn't say culture because I guess there's cultures that are a bit more indigenous that aren't as entrapped in that, but they're still aware of it. You know, information is the basis of the matrix being in the flow is the basis of communicating with the magical realm. So that's the reason. So hold that real quick. That's the reason that you can easily make 20 basketball shots from 30 feet away when you're in the flow. But when you're in the matrix, it's it's fairly difficult. You can make one out of two on an average basis from 15 feet away. Because when you're in the flow, you're outside of the matrix. You're outside the information field saying that it's possible or not possible, saying that you have to do a certain thing within a rule set. You're literally playing with this magical realm. And when you believe it's already happened and you're shooting like it's already happened, then it already happens. I know that's easy to say and easy to hear. Just sit with that and see if it resonates. The flow state permeates you out of the matrix into playing with this magical realm. And then when you play with the magical realm and you feel fear of like, oh, I'm doing it, or some type of rule, or like some type of outward attention or inward attention to the outward, any type of thing where um, an awareness of something beyond the flow state and the objective, the intention, attention, friction. Any other awareness will take you out of that flow state and will bring you back into the matrix. And that's the matrix very subtly sucking you back in. And that's how it works always. It's just this. And so you have the magical realm, and then you have a mind box. Say that mind box is like personality, then you have environment, and then you have family friends are like right inside environment, and you have like scholastics, and there's all these mind boxes that keep going, and inside those mind boxes there's a almost impermeable transparent layer. It's like a film of fear, and that fear is a thing that our ego, which is a blessing to us so that we as toddlers and a spirit can grow in a body, which is so odd. So we require an ego to interact with this place as a body. And that our ego, as part of our growing mechanism, because no one teaches us this, like, yes, this here now, but also this over here. No one teaches us support safety, but also don't live in safety in your spirit and in your mind and in your ego at all times, because that will keep you from addressing things, and you will push things down unconsciously, lower and lower into your lower unconscious, and that will keep you trapped in there, and you won't know how to fix that when you get older. There's a requirement that everyone at some point in life sits with themselves and realizes that all this shit is not that big of a deal. You can live perfectly outside the matrix. I know that sounds funny because I'm talking to computer, which is, I never thought I'd be doing. But if you're in it, which you probably are, please comprehend this. It's not a thing that you're stuck in. It's in you. The matrix is information. That's all. It's offerings of information. And the more you accept that information, the more you build systems and rules within yourself, and you identify with others who have similar systems and rules. And then you filter life through that perspective. And so anything that's not within that filter of those new rules, those new systems, then you just block out. And you don't realize you're blocking them out. You know, that's the reason why somebody can say something about a conspiracy and have all the proof in the world, and then somebody else literally just doesn't see it and doesn't hear it and doesn't matter to them at all. It's the reason why somebody can be drawn to Wall Street and somebody else thinks ugh, it's it. None of this is good or bad. It's just merely based on the rule set of information that you have accepted. The matrix is in you. How you get it out, if you choose, you don't have to, you can do whatever you want. How you get it out is you address those transparent fears that are inside each mind box. So you don't want to look at the mind boxes. The ego wants to keep you safe so you don't look at them. But you're holding it over your head like a bucket underwater so you can breathe in there. You think it's keeping you safe. No, take the bucket off. You can swim around and have a great time. You're not doing anything. You're just sitting there and you're not participating in this wonderful ocean that you could be swimming around in. You're sitting on the bottom holding a bucket going, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. And you don't realize you're doing that. This magical realm is right here. Go participate in it. But you're not. The reason you're not is because you have a bucket over your head called your mind box. And it's your smallest belief structure. That mind box, you call it, it's like one subject matter because there's a lot of them. Call it your occupation because one of the most difficult things to do is convince a man or woman of a truth in which their occupation depends on believing a lie. Now remember that there is a truth, but in general, that core is changing, is always changing, as everything else is, because the explanation of why things are happening are always changing, because everything's always changing, including history and the future. And it's connected to you and your power. So don't think it's too big. It's not too big. You are big. And also, all truth is perceived dependent on the frequency and the angle of the individual. So it doesn't mean because somebody else sees something, it's not that they're lying necessarily. And also, there are those who lie a lot in this place, and this is part of this place, man. That as those uh, frequencies are growing into a different age, through this time between times, and as it grows, then lying will occur less. But lying is part of this place. It's part of the matrix. It's part of information. So you must address the fear that's inside the mind box. Every mind box has a layer of fear inside it. And the only way that you can't even see the fear is transparent. Like, what is the fear that's keeping this mind box here? And it's almost always that it's more safe to hold the mind box on you than it is to let it go, that it's scary to let it go. But so this place is duality of love and fear. And inside love is the true essence of the singular one love. And inside fear is the true essence of the singular one love. So fear is not a problem. Fear is an opportunity, just as love is an opportunity. It's merely the duality of it. Okay? So fear is very hard to put your finger on. You can say I'm scared, you can feel I'm scared, but if you really, really, really go inside and find out what it is you're scared of, usually it's subtle and it's not that important. It's like this little thing, but you can feel it big time. But when you really go all the way through the process, like, what is it really that's pushing me that I'm scared of? It's usually these tiny little things of being truly alone, of being truly powerless, of being embarrassed because your expectation is that you're not good enough. It's little stuff that's kind of vague and scared that you can't defend yourself against. There's nothing to defend yourself against. It's just in general. And there may be scenarios that happen in your physical life that reinforce that. But that's not actually tied to that fear. If you look at it, that fear is just sitting there waiting. It's just sitting there waiting. It's an offering to you. Inside you, sitting here, offering to you, your mirror. Would you like to address this now? I'm just going to keep showing it to you until you would like to address it. It's an offering. You will like it if you address it. I know you don't want to. But if you try it, it's kind of like giving a new form of healthy food to like a 5-year-old. I know you're going to like it. I know it's good for you. I know you're going to be better for it. We can even try to go take whatever we're eating and go buy a tree of it and go plant it in our yard. We can grow it forever and then take those seeds and grow more. Maybe you want to become a farmer of these guava fruits, but you haven't heard of guava before. So you think it's kind of funny. So you don't want to try it. I know you're going to like it. Your fear, the real core of the fear of almost everything, basically everything, is sitting right there and it's showing it to you in a myriad of different ways so that you can go back and address those certain core things. And those certain core things are things that were somewhat ordained to you through your personality when you came in here, but also very much enhanced via your environment. And none of this, again, is good or bad, but you look at, I think that I should look at, well, what am I getting from not addressing those fears? More of the same shit? More of covering up things that I want people to see? Or what am I getting from addressing those fears? Being calm and confident? Being the real me? Is it possible I could be the real me and have everything that I truly desire? Not be president. Who cares about that? Not be whatever level of social standard. That may come, but that's not the point. That should be of service to others, not like put yourself on a pedestal. What if I really truly can achieve mastery of myself in a way that I'm actually living as the complete me, or as the me that is in tune, that is in flow state, and then I can pursue continually a greater version of me. What is that life like in comparison? Every mind box has a layer of fear inside it, and there's no reason to make it complicated. It's just one at a time. Just one, if you just do one, you will feel so overwhelmed with competence, with the resounding pride, not pride, resounding accomplishment, internal accomplishment, which equals joy. You will live in joy by addressing one mind box and calmly addressing it and letting it go. And the way you do that is you don't fight yourself and try to throw the mind box off the bucket off your head and stick your head up Because then you're gonna want to go, oh, you're gonna take in all the ocean water. You'll want to stick the mind box back on. You sit there and address the fear. Why am I even holding this mind box? And you just sit there and you realize what that fear is, and you sit with that fear until you accept the fear. When you accept the fear, then you forgive the fear. Not the fact that there's fear, but the essence of it. What is the essence of that? That feeling of not being good enough? And you sit there, what if I'm not good enough? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Why? Is it true? It's not true. Okay? Well, how am I going to operate now knowing it's not true that I'm not good enough? Forgiveness is the key because sin is incompletion, incompletion of deed, incompletion of emotion, incompletion of accomplishment internally. Forgiveness is completion, completion of all acts, of all deeds, of internal accomplishment to the complete point of self, forgiving everything and then forgiving self. It's okay. And then you let it go. And before you know it, as you go into that process, you will be so focused on allowing that fear to live and accept it and then forgive it and let it be. And you give it your heart, and your fingers will just release. And the mind box will just float away. And you will be sitting there. And you'll be happy to be sitting on the bottom of the ocean. You won't be panicked. You will be overjoyed. And then you will swim. That was a long pause. So, this life is really an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to, if you can take this information and then um, not put it into a matrix form, but see it as what you choose to see it with for your greatest good and the greatest good of all life. You are truly limitless, and so the things you do affect all time and all life. If you can find the most profound meaning for yourself here and then focus on that with your intention and attention and then add friction to your focus and work toward creating that, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And if that happens within the matrix system of mind boxes, that's cool. But um, for me, what I find to be the most valuable as of right now is releasing those fears and releasing them. And I just by nature become greater, more competent, calmer, more forgiving. The real human man spirit that I know I am, I begin to naturally show it more. I react much less. And I am in a place of acceptance and forgiveness before anything occurs. So not only am I cool if something occurs that may be a bit disdaining, but in general, better stuff happens. So, I've said it before many times, probably will say it for the rest of my life. Pay attention to the fact that what you pay attention to grows. If you choose, take the time, which is your energy, to focus your intention and attention on what mind box is closest to you. Inside that mind box, there is a fear that you must address. If you address that fear, accept it, and forgive it, then you will naturally just release that mind box. And then use that energy, use that momentum to focus, to move with friction forward or up, however you see it. And then as you grow, as you literally grow, because you have more room, because you're not in that mind box, you will bump into a new mind box. And then there will be that bucket effect where this is my new safety net. And then if you get good at it, you would just continually do it, but it would likely take a few tries of occurring to you again. Oh, I'm in another mind box. Oh shit. What? How'd that happen? And then there's a layer of fear in there. And is that limitless? I don't think so. I think there's however many that are kind of all related. It's kind of like a Russian dolls thing for each individual, depending on what they've been through. Maybe there's 6 of them. Maybe there's 600 of them, but I don't think it's never ending. I think what ends up happening is you get to the place where you can release all the mind boxes, and I'm still working on it, and you begin to focus purely on being beyond yourself and expanding your belief structure. And by expanding your belief structure, you begin to work with the magic of this place beyond the intermediary information program matrix, the mind box systems, the windows, literally windows. Um, you have the opportunity to interact with the magical place as your true self, and then you mold that together, and you expand your belief structure to the point where you are working with this place and it's giving you back the awareness of how far you've expanded yourself. And you just keep doing that. You keep doing that with a focus on making it a benefit for all. And I think that you then live the greatest life possible that you could live here. I think that greatest life, not that there's one tangible goal that says like I have done it, but that greatest life is within the pursuit of expanding your belief structure, which is truly, I mean, it can be anything you choose it to be, but for me, it, eventually it becomes how great is it possible that I may become while serving life and serving others and serving love. And the mechanism that is most interesting to me as far as service is becoming a prism for wisdom and love to flow through. So that's where I'm at. And my belief structure is truly convinced that you are limitless. That there isn't anything I or anyone else or any book could ever say that would be able to trump what you can actually create if you get so in tune with your true self and you let go of all your fears. Your focus and your friction can create anything. You are that which creates. This place is constantly showing you how great you are. All you have to do is pay attention to it. Release your fears, one at a time. And there is no time. So there is no hurry. Enjoy it. I love you. Prima Voltus Interior.